Okay, welcome to our call. Tonight, our topic is milestone months. So, what exactly is a milestone month? A milestone month is something that I started using in the beginning, and honestly, until a couple months ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I really thought everyone did the same. It is a goal for your non-promotion month. It is a goal that you set for yourself to be at a certain number in between those months. Let's say you hit gold and you end that month with 105. Well, chances are you're not necessarily going to be senior gold the following month, right? It depends on your momentum, it depends on where you are, and it depends on how long it took you to become gold. So what are you going to do that next month? Are you going to just, sit back and prepare for, okay, well, I hit gold, I'm happy, this is where I am? Or are you going to really go after getting at least halfway to your next milestone, between your 100 and your 250. So that's basically what a milestone month is, setting that milestone that helps you reach that next promotion goal. So we all know promotions are hard work, right? Some of you struggle so hard just for that promotion. And it's hard not to sit there and say, okay, I made it to gold. It took me a year. I am going to sit back for the next 2 months and I'm going to just soak it all in. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to let everybody know I'm gold and everything's going to be great. Now, that's not going to happen. If you stop that momentum, if you stop yourself and if you stop your team, then you're going to have to work even harder to get back to where you are. A phrase I'd like to share with people when they promote is, take a breath, not a break. So when you promote, enjoy that day. Enjoy the next day. Let everybody congratulate you. Be excited. Share it with the world. But take a breath. Don't take a break. Get right back on that horse. Get right back on the train, whatever it is. Because those that continually work for their promotions are the ones that have the strongest momentum. Those that are always looking ahead. Let me just share an analogy with you really quick. So let's say you're at the bottom of a hill and it's very sloped and you start way back here, right? Because you kind of want to get started going downhill, then coming back up. And I give you a boulder and I say, when you get this boulder to the top, you're going to be a diamond. So you start way back here and you go up, you push and you push and you push and you get about halfway up that hill and you have exerted all of your energy. You are like, I have nothing else left to give, right? So what do? Do you say, okay, I did all I could do. I made it halfway. I really need to take a break. I'm going to let go of this boulder and I'm going to go sit down. So what's going to happen to that boulder? Is it going to sit there in the middle of the hill? No, it's going to roll all the way back down. Now, it may not go all the way back up that curve, but it's going to roll down to the bottom at least. So then when you're done with your break, you're going to have to go back to that boulder and you're going to have to push it and you're going to have to start from way back where you were. Now, if you're halfway with that boulder and you think, I have exerted all my energy, I don't know how much longer I can do this, yet you just stop pushing, you sit there and you take a few deep breaths and you kind of regroup, you give your legs and your arms a rest, and then you start full force again, you're going to continue up that hill and you're going to be that much closer to your goal. So bottom line, you have to keep going. If your goal is to be a diamond, if your goal is to be a jewel, you have to keep going. You have to set those high goals for yourself. Now, if your goal in this business is to be senior gold, you're not going to have to work as hard as somebody who wants to be a diamond, who really wants that team momentum and really wants to grow strong and solid. You don't want to have to use your hindsight to realize you should have worked a tad bit harder on those off months. The months that you knew you weren't going to promote and you just kind of let things go because it's not a promotion month. So you can sit back a little bit more. Then the following month when you anticipate promoting, you don't want to fall short and think, oh my gosh, if I only would have worked a little harder last month and ended that month a little bit higher, I would have been okay. So what is a great way to set goals for your month? Melissa's going to share some great tips on planning out your month and getting them prepared for your promotion. Melissa?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I like to tell my team, I say this all the time, you would not take a road trip without a map or without some idea of where you were going. Even if you had a GPS, you would have some sort of idea of where you were going, or you probably would not get there the best way possible. Your business is the same way, and that's what your plan is. It is your roadmap to your business. And if you don't have a plan, then I can pretty much guarantee you that you are not hitting the promotions that you want on the schedule that you want them. So there are some things you need to do to plan your month, and you need to be very specific. I can't stress that enough. Okay. I hear people tell me all the time, I want my PV to be $1,500. Okay. That's a great goal. But if you had 1,200 PV last month, then you need at least 3 new customers buying $100 to get 1,500 PV. So you can't sit back and wait for people to contact you and say, oh, I want to be your customer. You need to go after people, not like attack people, but you need to start planting those seeds and start offering these products. You need to be very strategic in what you're doing. So you can't just say, my PV this month is going to be $1,500. You need to know what it's going to take to get to $1,500. Do not wait for people to come to you. You go to people. You have a product that will change their lives. Okay? The second thing you need is a personal sponsoring goal. Don't forget the power of 3. Guys, the power of 3 is so important. We preach that to our teams. We say, oh, you need to bring 3 new customers, 3 new ambassadors. That's a great rule. But if you are not personally doing that, how do you expect your team to do that? If you want to lead your team and you want to be duplicatable, then you need to give your team something to duplicate. If you're not bringing people into your team, then you can't expect your team members to do that either. And you know what? Every single person can recruit one person. There are 100 people on this call, guys. Imagine what would happen if every single one of you brought one person into the business. And you can do it. There's no excuse to not do it. If you're giving yourself excuses, stop. There's no excuse. You know people that need this business and that need these products. So use your prospect list. This is kind of a little side note, Haley, I'm going to throw this in. If you guys are not working with a prospect list that has at least 100 names on it, you are missing the boat. You need to do that tonight or tomorrow. You need a list of 100 people, and you need to have at least 20 people in your pipeline. And what that means is there are 20 people that you are fostering connections with, that you are making contact with, and that you are eventually going to tell about your business. And you're going to ask them to take action. You're going to ask them to buy as a customer, or you're going to ask them to join your team. One way or the other, you're going to make a connection with these people. But I challenge you all to recruit one person the first week of the month, because then you've already recruited the one, you've built the excitement with your team, and you're like, I've got one, now I just need 2 more. And it takes the pressure off of you. So make that your goal. The third goal you need, or the third plan you need to do, is set a points goal for yourself. Just like Haley said, whether your promotion depends on it or not, you need to know where you're going to finish the month in points. Where do you want to finish this month? I'll tell you guys, last month I wanted to finish with 2,000 points. There's not a promotion at 2,000 points. However, I worked my business all month, like that 2,000 points depended on a promotion. And that's what you have to do. If you promoted to gold last month and you ended with 105 points, that is great. But like Haley said, don't take a break. You don't take this month off and say, oh, I made gold, I'm going to take this month off. No, set another goal. Set your goal for 175 points for this month. You want to work towards that goal, just like a promotion depends on it. So set your goal and then work all month long. Like that points number is going to get you a promotion, because the reality is that it's going to get you that much closer to your next promotion.
Yes, exactly. And knowing where you need to be and what you need to do to get there is so, so very important. I remember back in the beginning when I started, I remember our back office was not as good at reports as this new one is. And, you had to go in and actually count people and add up things and figure it all out. And I remember doing that every single month and having the running total and having it on a paper and it on my phone and keeping track and really wanting to know where I projected to be and what it was going to take for me to get there. Because I have seen team members let a promotion slip by 15, 10, even 5 points away, and they have just let it go. And I realize if they would have planned, if they would have started their month or even the month before a little bit stronger, they wouldn't watch that just disappear before their eyes. If they would have done their monkey math, if they would have figured out what exactly they needed or what, they had hoped that their team was going to bring in and where they would, end, they wouldn't be in that situation. And it's very disappointing to be that very close and to just watch it go and know you have to start all over in a day or two. A lot of people, and this is far too often, wait until the 25th hits to decide what else they need to add for the month. And, and I'll see them and they'll be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to promote. I'm going to wait and see what happens on the 25th. And they're just sitting, waiting to see where their points are going to end that day. And then if they're not where they want to be, they're like, well, maybe by the 28th, I'll be a little bit closer. And then what happens is they're just a little out of reach and not close enough to where they need to be to promote. So then they start hustling those last 2 days and they start saying, what can I do? What can I do? Can I do this? I want these people qualified. And, it's a little too late at that point. You have to start that month strong. You can't rally your team at the last minute and expect them to just come out of the woodwork when you've only gained 5 or 10 points between the 25th and the 30th and expect them on that last day to give you 140. It's just not going to happen most of the time. It's kind of like, it's so funny. We watch a lot of football in my house. If y'all know my husband at all, like every football game of the season is shown in my house at one time or another. He records every single one and we watch every single one. It's full. I don't really watch them, but I sit there, and those teams, they start off the first half, it's 0. The other team has 40. They have a big old goose egg. Something happens at halftime and they come back out and they really start working. And here you get down to fourth quarter, you got about 5 seconds left and they're down by 3 points. They've come all the way back and they're down by 3 points. And, and my husband's like, oh my gosh, they're going to pull this off. I can't believe that they've done this. And I'm like, if they would have started the game this strong, they wouldn't be in this predicament. And he really hates when I say that, but I say it every single time. If they would have worked as hard that first half as they did the second half, they would have twice as many points and they wouldn't be in this horrible situation, just waiting on that kicker to get out there and praying that goes between the uprights. So, start your month strong. Don't get to the end and just pray and hope and wish and dream and rally a team just at the last minute. It's not going to happen always. So how do you figure out where your month is going, what you need to do, how much you need to empower your team? This is what we call monkey math. This is something that I sat down and did. This is something I know a lot of my leaders sat down and did. We didn't really have a name for it and nobody ever really talked about it. But for those strong people on my team, I know I can reach out to them on the 8th of the month, the 21st of the month, the 3rd of the month and say, how are your points and what are they compared to last month? And they can tell me in a heartbeat. And they can tell me what their projection is for the month. And they can tell me how many team members they anticipate coming in that month. It's all about the numbers and it's all about the system. So that's what we want you guys to understand. Now, I don't know if we can do that in this call, but we're going to do our very best to explain it to you. And if we feel like there's a more in-depth way that we can do this later, but guys, this is so important in your business if you want to promote. You have to work every month like that. So I'm going to let Melissa share a little bit about the monkey math. She's really good at explaining it, breaking it down. I'm not a numbers person and I'm really not good at explaining it to other people. Now I can sit and do my numbers all day, but I can't tell you how to do yours. But this is the area where many people falter when it comes to promoting. So Melissa, will you share a little bit about how that works and how they can figure that out?
Yeah, I stink at math too, y'all. So this is funny that
even non-mathematicians can figure out their numbers and know, because you're one of those people I can call or I can talk to. Like I said, on the 4th, I can call you. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm like 160 more points than I usually am at this time of the month. I mean, we all know our numbers, right? Even though we hate numbers, we know them.
It is a numbers thing, and I wish that this is something I would have done in the beginning. When I missed my Ruby promotion, and I was so bummed by how I missed it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm missing the whole idea here. I need to sit down and figure this out. I have to shout out Julie Patterson, because she's the one that pegged this monkey math, because I just call it craziness, but everybody kind of looks at me like, how do you come up with these things? But so I want you to kind of write these numbers down if you're taking notes, so you can kind of follow along, because I'm a visual person. So if you are, then you'll want to write this down.
Maybe non-math people are visual.
Maybe, because I'm very visual, so I'm a non-math person. All right, so let's say you finish the month with 105 points, all right? This month, you're going to set a point goal of 175 points. You need to determine what you need to do personally and what your team needs to do to hit that goal. So you finished the month with 105, and your team added 6 new ambassadors that did not qualify that month. That would be an additional 30 points if that's in your levels 1 through 3. Okay, so you've got an additional 30 points coming in once those people qualify. So that right there says that you should finish the month with 135 if you do not add another person and you do not have any white lines. Okay, but we know that's probably not going to be the case. But let's just say realistically that's 135. So you've set your goal at 175 points. That means you need to add at least 8 new people in your levels 1 through 3. You need to get them qualified in order to hit your goal. So you personally need to set a goal to bring in 2 to 3 people, and then work with your team to see where those additional 5 to 6 people will come from. If you're at this level where you have 105 points, you're a gold ambassador, there should be some people on your team that are going for silver. If you just get 2 people on your team to silver, that gives you the people in place to get to the 175 points. Granted, the 175 does not get you a promotion. However, if you do that this month and then next month you do the same thing, you're going to go senior gold. So that's where the points come into place, because you're going to keep building, keep going forward. So don't sit back just to see where you finish. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm just going to see what happens when the auto calls kick in and see where I finish. Don't do that. You need to work the whole month like that 175 depends on it. Now, I know some of you on this call are bigger. You have bigger numbers, bigger teams, and you need to figure an average of what your team needs. And this is kind of where the term monkey math comes from, because it's an average, okay? So Emerald, everybody wants to be Emerald, right? I mean, you might say, oh, you want to be Emerald because you want the car, you want the trip, and you want the Emerald pool. I can just tell you, you want it, trust me. All right, so Emerald is 1,500 points. If you're a gold ambassador, do not start doing this math right now, okay? Focus on senior gold. But if you are close to Emerald, let's say you finished the month with 1,100 points and your team added 50 new people. Those 50 new people are not going to bring you 5 points each, because your levels are deeper when you're Emerald. You're going 7 levels deep, okay? So you have to estimate it. But you can look at your back office and see your potential points based on the active ambassadors at what level. So let's pretend that if everyone who is active now stays active and they purchase or they get a customer, or God forbid their AQ goes off, we don't want to wait till the AQ, but if it goes off, you will have approximately 1,300 points, okay? So you still need 200 points to get to Emerald. You cannot wait until the 25th of the month, guys, to get 200 points. You need to know where those 200 points are going to come from early in the month. So you need a plan. So this is the math, okay? So let's just say you need 200 points. I take that 200 and I divide it by 5, because you get 5 points in your levels 1 through 3. That equals 40, okay? So that's 40 ambassadors in my levels 1 through 3. And then I divide 200 by 3, because that's the level 5 point value, all right? So I need between 40 and 67 ambassadors to hit the 1,500 points. That's my estimate. And I need to watch that number and keep up with that number. And let me just throw this in too. You need to be working your outside leg. If you have one rock star and you're sitting there coasting on those coattails, stop. Be your own rock star. Bring a couple of rock stars in, but you still work your business. I am very fortunate. I have some rock stars on my team, but I try to be my own rock star too. I'm not skating by on anybody's coattails. I'm working just like they work. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So that's the monkey math, y'all. That's absolutely the secret.
Thank you. No, absolutely. You know, it's so funny. I can work those numbers all day long. It's kind of like shopping. Like, I can't help my girls with their math, but I can go shopping, and if it's 75% off and about 0.2 seconds, I can tell you how much it's going to cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's necessity and what is really fun to you. So now that you kind of learned a little bit about the monkey math, and we've kind of told you, you need to work every month as if their promotion is happening every month. I mean, just imagine if you strived for that promotion every single month and you got super close or close enough, how much easier is it the following month, right? So what is it you can do or change now to not be waiting and wishing at the end of every month? Because if you feel like you're waiting and wishing, just waiting for that 25th to come through and then wishing it's all going to change by the 28th, this is what you need to do. Number one, you need to empower your team and rally your team from day one. You don't wait till the end. If you do your math, you won't be guessing that this is your month to promote. And you won't start rallying your team too early. You won't start rallying them in March when it's not going to happen until June. You can only rally your team so many times. And if you rally them and rally them and rally them, and it's like the boy who cried wolf. They're like, yeah, right, lady. We've already done this several times. You don't want to be there. They're not going to, they're only going to really push for you so much because that's all the energy they have. And you don't want them to lose faith in the process. You don't want them to think, is this going to be me? Am I going to be trying to promote like this and just begging my team to help me out? But you want them to be a part of something so exciting and so important. So you want to include them. You want to start them out from day one. The best way to empower your team is to find those people on your team that want it as bad as you. And those are few and far between. Those are your runners. Those are your strong people. Those are the people that really want to work this business. The ones that want their next promotion just as much as your next promotion, and they are close. They know what it takes, and they've done their monkey math. They're ready. They can tell you when they're going to promote. I have people on my team. They're like, I'm hitting this on this date, this on this date, and this on this date. Of course, it's all based on their current momentum and how their team works and their average of points gained every single month. But they can lay it out for me for the entire year. If you work with these team members, work with them to get what they want, then by default, what's going to happen? You're going to achieve your goal. If you work with them to earn what they want, you're going to have enough points eventually to get your goal. So you're not just out for yourself. You're helping others achieve their dreams, and in turn, you get paid back for that. Your goal should be to promote every single month prior to the 25th. I knew that was my goal because I didn't want to be lumped in with everybody on the 25th. I'm one of those that likes to buck the system. Where I grew up, I liked the team that nobody else liked just because everybody liked the one team and I wanted to be the oddball out, right? So my goal was always to promote before the 25th of the month, to have my own day to announce. Now, did that happen? Not a lot. I think it happened twice that it happened before the 25th. But if you reach for that goal, if you strive for that goal, then by the 25th or 26th, it should be a piece of cake to finish it out like that. All right, Melissa, you want to do number 2?
Yeah. I like what you just said too. If you know me, one of my favorite quotes is by Zig Ziglar, and he says that you can have everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And that is so the truth. If you are calling on your team to do for you and you're not doing some of your own stuff, then you're probably not going to get what you want. So you definitely want to help the people on your team. All right. So the second tip that we have, and this is something that I've been doing for many, many months now, and I've found that it's really helpful. Meet with the leaders of your strongest level. Your strongest legs, not your strongest level, but meet with your leaders of your strongest legs and try to do it on the first of the month. And this is where you're a partnership. And if you're not looking at your business as a partnership, then you're missing the boat there too. But you want to talk to your team and come up together on what you need to do as a team for the month, okay? So tell them what you are thinking their team can do based on what they did last month. And then let them tell you what they think, all right? So if they added 25 people last month and that leader's a senior gold ambassador, then see if they could possibly add 40 people this month. And they may come back and say, no, Melissa, I don't think we can do 40. I think we could do, I'm comfortable with 30. I'm like, I tell you what, let's meet in the middle. Let's do 35. And that way there's a goal set there for that team. And then they need to go and do the same thing with their team. So you're duplicating. I work with my strong level 1. And if I have a 2 that doesn't have an active 1, I work with that person. But let your team help you make that decision. I will tell you, do not contact your leaders and say, hey, I need for you to add 40 people this month so I can promote to Emerald. They're not going to buy into that, y'all. They're not going to see that. So you as the leader, what you need to do, you need to know what adding 40 people will do for that strong leg. If you're talking to your senior gold leader and you're saying, hey, we want you to add 40 people, what does that do for that team? Maybe you have someone on your team that adding 6 people will get someone to gold. Maybe if one leg recruits 12 people, that'll get somebody a ruby promotion. What would 40 recruits for that senior gold do? I mean, that's definitely a ruby promotion. So as the leader, you need to help your team see the possibility. You cast the vision for your team. And if you are in connection with what's going on, then you can cast that vision.
Absolutely. And let me just piggyback on that. I have had people on my team who have reached out to their strong legs and said, hey, I'm really close to promoting. So can you push your team a little bit harder so that I can promote? And do you know what that causes? It causes a lot of contention. It causes a lot of negativity. And you know what that team basically does is they want to shut down because they don't want to reward somebody that's sitting back and not doing anything. Somebody that's just asking them to do the work so they can get, that bonus, or they can get the glory of the promotion graphic or whatever. It causes much more harm than good. There will always be some kind of contention no matter what. And the team will be more hesitant to work because they know that person will be rewarded because of that. So be very cautious if you're one of those that reaches out to your team that way and is not doing what you ask them to do. And that is what number 3 is. Continue to personally recruit and be the example for your team. I cannot stress to you how important this is to be the example. Do not expect for your team to do all of the work for you. If you're asking your team to personally recruit 1 to 3 ambassadors each and every month, you need to be doing the same thing at least. You have to be your darndest. Do your darndest. I know it's hard when you are a little bit further along in this business and your warm market is not as plentiful as somebody else's. It's maybe harder for you to recruit 3 people. But you know what? That just means you have to work a little bit harder. And you, by this time, should be doing so. Every month, you should have that goal set for at least 3 ambassadors. But like Melissa said, just 1. Just everyone adding 1 person makes a huge difference. Do not let your month end with a big fat goose egg ever if you can keep from it. At least recruit 1 person and be that example. Like I said, you can't ask your team to do that. You cannot ask your team to do it now, even if it's something you did before. Let's say you were a rock star and you recruited 20 people in 30 days when you started. And you come to your team and you're like, guys, I recruited 20 people in 30 days and I want to see each and every one of you do it. Well, unless you're doing it each and every month, it's not something you can ask them to do. Unless you are the example, you have to be the one to show them how it can be done. They're going to say, girl, you did that 1.5 years ago. Go do it again and show me how easy it is when you're telling me it's easy that you've done it. When you bring new people into your team, it motivates everyone. You bring in new, fresh excitement. You bring in people that really, really want this business. We all know how excited we are in the beginning. And there are people that they continue that excitement. And there are people that are excited for about 2 weeks until they realize how hard it is to get where they want to be. And then they're like, this is not so exciting anymore. I'm actually going to have to do some work. And as you continue to grow in this business, it's very common to start growing much deeper for your levels 5, 6, and 7s to really boom, and your levels 1, 2, 3, and 4s to kind of slow down. So if you're constantly building your level 1s as much as you can and bringing in those fresh new eyes and the fresh new people that want to promote and really want this, then that's what's going to help your business the most. Guys, I can guarantee you those people that are on the business building leaderboard every single week from corporate are the ones that have strong level ones that are constantly renewing them. They're constantly bringing in those heavy hitters as their level ones. They're not just sitting back and letting their level ones recruit and their level twos recruit. They're bringing those people in continuously. So that leads us to number 4.
Yes, and that ties right into that is don't get stuck working with just your leaders on your team. You could possibly miss a rock star on your team. And I want to share a little bit of my story. When I joined Plexus, I did not really know the person that assigned me. So I didn't really connect with anybody on the team until I was already a gold, working towards senior gold ambassador. So when I met my uplines, it was actually in October, and I promoted to senior gold in November. So that's how close I was to senior gold. Now, thankfully, I was a person that was a self-starter. However, if I was not that person and I got frustrated and left, nobody would have known what I could have brought. You know what I mean? So you always want to take the time to get to know the people that come into your business. If it is nothing more than a simple voice message to your levels 1 through 3 that welcomes them to your team and you introduce yourself. I do that every month, and at least in my levels 1 through 3. I try to get everybody in my first 7 levels, but it gets a little difficult now. But at least just say, hey, this is who I am. I'm excited to have you on my team. And you've at least started that connection. So if the people in between you and that person quit, then you have a relationship with them and they can come to you. So you want to not make sure you're not missing the potential. However, you can't focus all of your time on your deeper levels that come into your business. You need to really work with your level ones and get them started and get them recruiting, but not spend so much time with your leaders. Because here's the reality: when you have a senior gold ambassador on your team, they don't need you to hold their hand. They are just fine to lead their team. They need your support, but they don't need for you to tell them what to do. They don't need for you to micromanage everything they do. They're connected to their team, and you are connected to them. So my leaders on my team, I never reach out to their team members to try to, they know I'm here. However, I don't try to reach down and say, oh, you need to do this, and oh, you need to do that. I'm not doing that. I have leaders on my team that have taught to be that leader, that they're connecting with their own team. So you connect with the leaders on your team, but empower them to go and do the same thing that you've been doing. If you don't do that, then you're never going to have the freedom that this business can offer. Because if you are trying to build a bunch of followers because it makes you feel good, then one thing, your team is only going to grow so far. And then the other thing is that you're always going to be tied to your business. You're never going to get a break. So don't get stuck working with just your leaders. Always find the fresh people, the ones that are excited, and work with them. Get them started. Let them see the vision of what they can actually have with this business.
Absolutely. It is so important to empower your people and to empower yourself. I mean, there comes a time when you don't need, if you're one of those people that you've let your upline dictate every move you've made and everything you've done, and you wait for them to okay everything, there comes a time when you need to empower yourself and step out of that shadow and do things differently. If your business is stalled, that's a great time to say, hey, I need to change things up. I need to do some fresh ideas. I don't need to sit back and wait for my upline to provide this or do that. Especially if you're if you're a Ruby or a senior Ruby or something like that, it's time to branch out a little bit. Don't empower yourself, empower your leaders, and show them it's okay to not be under somebody's wing. It's okay to jump out of that nest and fly. But like Melissa said, there are often leaders who want the followers. They want people hanging on their every word and doing everything for them. So, they want the people right there, but you need to be your own leader and your own self. And another thing she brought up about, having a rock star leg, there's many times that people will say, oh, I'm trying to recruit another rock star. Melissa was a rock star on our team and nobody knew it. So, she was recruited, she was there. And luckily when she turned gold, we all kind of took notice of her. Hey, who is this girl we've never heard of that turned gold all of a sudden? And what's going on in this situation? So you may have that rock star. You may have that person there. See, like Melissa says, you have to reach out. You have to be looking for those people that need that. Maybe their uplines aren't working. Maybe you see the potential in someone. And if it's somebody under a different upline, then reach out to that upline and say, hey, I think this person's going to be great. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to see if they need any help or if there's anything I can do for them. may have that person already on your team. That's the greatest thing ever right there. So number 5, when it's crunch time and there's a promotion on the line, you need to rally your power circle. You should have that small group of people on your team, those strong people, the people that want their promotion, the people that are really, really working it, that you know and you trust, and that they want success just as much as you do. And, you know, you want to reciprocate to them. You want to be there for them and rally for them and expect that from them also. This is when your power circle is helping you make phone calls and reaching out to team members to see what they can do to help them get qualified. You know, often they'll say, oh, if we could just get these people qualified. And I'm like, if you reach out to them with the mindset of what can I do to help you start building your business? What can I do to help you get a customer, to help you start making commission, instead of what can I do to help you get commission qualified because I need your 5 points, you're going to go a lot further in this business. You know, and when I say you reach out to those people and they make phone calls with you, they reach out to people with you. You don't call your leaders and say, hey, I need you to call all your people and tell them that, you know, they need to get on the phone and get commission qualified. Again, contention. Again, not wanting to work because they're like, what are they doing? Sitting on their butt while they expect us to make these phone calls and they expect us to get out and rally people. Not going to happen. So, you know, you need to be the one with the servant heart and the one setting the example for your team. Help your team all month. You know, don't just get down to the wire and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so close. I better start calling everybody and seeing what I can do to help them out. I check in with my people constantly, and I check in with them and say, who on your team is close to promoting? Who on your team can I reach out to and help? Who on your team do you think if they got a message from me, it would benefit them? If there was something I could say to them to benefit them. And that is so impactful for those people to know that you're thinking about them, that you're reaching out to them, that you're there to help too, along with their upline, that we all love and care about them, because we do. We want everybody on our team to be successful. I've always said I would love to have a team full of diamonds. How amazing would that be? So help your team all month. And remember, the more successful your team members are, the more successful you will be. So if you strive for their success, you are going to be successful in turn.
Hey, and I want to add too that whenever you promote like that and your team is a part of that, it is a team promotion. You know, when I promoted to Emerald, my goal was to hit it on the 25th. It didn't happen. But however, I was very close. And so, guys, I got to tell you that I was in contact with my power circle. I have a group of 5 or 6 people. I think there's 6 people on my team that I work very closely with all the time. And if they weren't calling somebody, I was calling somebody. We were like, hey, what's her story? What's his story? What's going on? So that way we didn't bombard anybody. However, every person in my back office was received a phone call, because I'm telling you, sometimes you just have to take the bull by the horns. If you want it bad enough, then you really have to get in there and go after it. So the 6th tip is to teach your team the value of 3, but show them how the value of 1 can be game changing. And I kind of touched on this a little bit already, but how would it make a difference for promotions on your team and for growth of the team if this was a habit? If you guys have read Beach Money, the book Beach Money by Jordan Adler, that was his goal, to recruit 1 person a month for a year, and that's 12 new people. We heard Rosalind Payne speak at Super Saturday, and she got to Diamond with 12 level 1s. I don't know if she recruited 12 or if it was 12 active. I'm going to assume 12 active level 1s. But imagine having 12 active level 1s if that was all it took to get you to Diamond. So I said a while ago, if there are 100 people on this call, you all recruit 1 person, and you get every person on your team to recruit 1 person. Gosh, Haley would be double diamond if we did that, for real, y'all. But I mean, think of the growth that you would have on your team if even half of your team recruited 1 person. So maybe you need to work with your team and set that as a goal for the first 10 days of the month, to bring in 1 person. And really rally your team and support your team and get that excitement going. Because there's just no reason why everybody can't recruit 1 person. I mean, you all know 1 person.
Absolutely. And I mean, just think, if you're just gold, if you have 20 people on your team, if all 20 of those people added 1 person, or 20 active, if all those people added 1 person, you would almost be senior gold, right? I can't do the numbers that quick, but that's what I'm thinking. It pops up too. So it all boils down to you doing the work. That's what it is. Doing the work and being active. You cannot be successful in this business by wishing and hoping. It's only by doing. Your words mean absolutely nothing when your actions are the complete opposite. And I see that time and time again. And it's funny to me when I have leaders come to me and they're like, I have all these people that say they want it and they're not doing anything. You know, it's so frustrating. Like they're the only people like that. And it's so true. It's so easy for people to say they want something and just sit back and wait for it to happen. But those that are actively working are the ones that really want it. Those are your runners. Those are the ones that you need to work with. If you're one of those people, and I saw this a lot in January, if you're one of those people who claimed Emerald for 2016, man, I saw this float around like crazy. And some of the people I thought they're going to be there. They're going to make it. And some people I thought, that's going to be quite a stretch there. If you're one of those people who claimed Emerald, and here we are in February, and you haven't recruited one person yet, and you haven't gotten one new customer, are you really on the path to Emerald? Are you really working toward Emerald? Or are you just wishing for it? Are you just waiting for it to happen for you? Like I said earlier, do you have that one strong rock star leg and you're just trying to find that other rock star? So, then you'll be complete. Then you don't have to do much of anything except watch them work. And isn't that fun? How do you know they aren't already there? And they're just sitting back, waiting, waiting for that help or just not quite getting what they need to get. If you didn't train that first strong rock star, how are you going to know what that second strong rock star looks like? I tell people that all the time. If they have a runaway leg and they're like, I just need one more of those. And I'm like, the chances of you getting two of those are very few and far between. But how are you going to know when you get it if they don't just go right away? Maybe they're there. Maybe a rock star is there. Maybe a big promoter, a big recruiter, a strong ambassador is on your team already and just needs a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance. So let's reflect on what we covered.
Yeah. And let me just add in there too, though, make sure you're watching that outside leg, guys. If your outside leg is where you're struggling and you don't have the points, then you need to get some people and get them promoted. To get to Ruby, you need an outside leg of 100 points. That means you need another person that's gold on your team. Just look at your back office, look at your points and figure out where you need to be. Don't get burnt by the outside primary leg. Make sure you're building strong and wide. So that means you need to continue to recruit. Absolutely. So the reflection is, what will you do this month that is different from every month in the past? What is one thing that you will take away from this call? Hey, this call was in high demand tonight. So you all were on here. You've got the head start. Choose one thing that you're going to do differently this month and write it down. And then and follow through with it. Don't just write it down, but do something. And then at the end of the month, I want you to look at how the month changed for you, how much better you felt, how much more relaxed you felt, and how much more in control you felt, instead of just waiting to see what will happen. No waiting. You should know what's going to happen. Remember, you're the captain of your own ship, so you need to know what's happening. But notice the growth in your business and get to work. Just get to work.
Absolutely. And I want to challenge each of you that are on this call that really, really wanted to be on this call because you want to know how to promote. I want you to take this stuff to heart, and I want you to sit down and do a timeline for February, March, and April and decide where you want to be in 3 months. Do your math. Like we explained, if you need to, we're going to release this recording. If you need to go back and figure it out, if you need to sit down, if you need to message your upline or get some help, figure it out. But do your math. Figure out where you need to be end each month to reach that. Really break it down. You can break it down to the day. If you know you need to add 30 ambassadors to your team, you need one a day, right? So you know you need at least one a day. If you don't get one on Monday and one on Tuesday, then you better hope for 3 on Wednesday. You break it down and visualize that to yourself. And then keep that reminder, keep that written down somewhere visible so you can see it. So you remember when you sit down to work and you see that, you remember what you're working for each and every day and what you're doing to reach those goals. What those small steps now are what's going to make that big promotion later. So for everybody that's on this call, I was going to do this for just the live people, but I'm thinking we're going to release this either tonight or in the morning because my messages have been blowing up. But I want you to go to the team page. When you sit down and do this, when you sit down and do your timeline, go to the team page. I'm going to put a monkey math graphic on there. And I want you to comment below there how many people each month you plan to personally sponsor, that you need to personally sponsor each and every month for February, March, and April. You can just write 2, 4, 6 or 1, 2, 3 or 2, 2, 2 or whatever it is for you to reach your goal, for you to be where you want to be at the end of April. I want you to see it in writing, and I want to see it in writing. I want to see those goals and what you think you need to do to achieve that. Melissa,
Hey, can I up that challenge just a little bit?
Absolutely, of course.
I tell you to take it one step further and write the names down of those people that you're going to recruit. I did a thing with my team today where they had to write 20 names that they're going to contact this month. It's time to be bold, guys. It's time to do it. So write the names down along with the numbers. I mean, you don't have to put them on the team page, but put them somewhere where you look at them every day. I have a big whiteboard in my office that has everybody's name on it that I'm still, some of those people's names have been on that list for going on 2 years. So,
absolutely. I have a list next to my computer and I look at it every single day. And sometimes the timing is right. The day is right to reach out to a certain person and I just feel it in my bones and I do it. Even if I've reached out to them several times before. So, all right. Anything else before we go?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you all so much for being on here. It was great to have you all. I hope you got some great information from this call. Like I said, we may try to do a little more in-depth one on the math and figuring it all out, but hopefully this gave you guys a great start. And I look forward to seeing some fabulous promotions within the next month. Thanks, guys.